Do you think with the advent of, well, the talk about copyright coming to Grenada, well, the small islands, do you think that might then allow the artists to quite understand that the principles behind, if you are executive producer or you own the studio, what they expect, what's expected of them?
Yeah, well, once the Copyright Association has the right seminars to educate the people involved in the music industry, be it producers, be it engineers, be it writers, be it the artist himself, they sooner or later everyone should have a full knowledge of how the industry operates. But as it is right now, I mean, it has a lot of learning to do. It has a lot of educating to do from the aspect of the copyright people, the Copyright Association having to educate the general public on the whole aspect of copyright, because copyright is not something that is new. Right? It's there. It's just that Grenada really don't practice it. A lot of the younger Eastern Caribbean countries don't practice it, but it's there. It's not new at all.
How do you spot a talent?
Well, over the years we've been going through different phases with artists. We started off with Ignition. That was our first. We kind of grounded them and worked with them. We started with them first. The next year, they probably was speaking to Boogie B. Boogie B was kind of like interested in doing some work, and he came on board. We did the whole executive producer business with him and his song, and he very talented individual. We see what happened. He got Road March, he got Soca Monarch in that year. The year after, we still worked with him, but I guess, you know, artists some point in time, they go on a trance in themselves and try to see if they could find their own, you know, and realize, well, you know, that would have been one of the best things that happened to them. So eventually we still work with him. After that, who we worked with again, we did some minor work with Soca Banton, we did some work with Looney Spark and Electrify. Then 2008, Miney, and Yaga.
Just give me that. Yes, I like it.
And we still do intend to do work with as much artists as possible, and keep them as closely knit in the production. I don't think no production studio would not grab at the opportunity for some form of concessions in the importation of equipment and so forth. Musical schools, probably schools that is going to be able to teach engineering courses and that kind of stuff. Because I mean, I learned everything that I learned from being around the people that I initiated from in the early couple of years, but I've not really had any, let's say, set out education in the aspect of music. You understand me? Everything was pretty much stuff that I've seen being done around me, and how, you know, how it's been done. What one or two of my arrangers might have showed me, one or two of my co-producers from other parts of the other region might have showed me. So that's basically it.
Do you all draw on our nearest neighbor, Trinidad, who seem to have a very vibrant music industry? Are there any lessons to be learned from how they do their things compared to how we operate in Grenada?
I mean, music is music, and music is based on, when a man produces music, is based on his feel. So each Caribbean island has their own feel, or their own song, as you mentioned earlier on. Trinidad has a particular way they do music and how they produce music. Barbados has a particular song, the same way St. Vincent, Dominica, all the other islands. But from my experience, I would pretty much use Trinidad more for the final product. You understand me? We would produce here, we would mix here, but in light of the mastering, which gives, well, I presently master in St. Vincent and Trinidad, but I mean, I use more St. Vincent as it is now. The sound is the final sound of the music. You get that depth.
Is that done because we haven't got the type of equipment, or we haven't got the type of engineers that we need here? I
probably think that enough of the producers do not separate, because it's the people I work with does that solely. They just master, or they just mix, if that is the case might be, and they don't produce and mix. So it's like writing a book. When you finish, you send it to an editor, and the editor is gonna, you know, edit it and proof it and do whatever it is, and then they're gonna, you know. So it's kind of like that, because you working on something, you might know what sound you want, but at the end of the day, your ears is so tired to the same sound, you kind of get complacent on a lot of things. And when you send it to somebody else to listen it, they are your biggest critic, and they might be able to fix it a little better because they're just hearing it for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, compared to you working on it for a whole week or a whole month.
Well, this opens another avenue here for conversation, because it goes the other way as well. When you speak about, there's some people who can write, some people who can sing, but the trend we tend to have in Grenada here, you feel if you write a song, you have to sing it. And most times, some decent songs get lost in translation, if you understand what I mean. How do we go about to let writers know you're right, you know, singers sing, producers produce? How do you come around to make everybody understand the concept behind that?
It's been a very embarrassing situation at times, but I think I learned from Emmanuel Duncan in some ways that you have to let them know straight up as it is. You know, so let them know that you might not be the best person for the song, and you're looking at the song for the better interest where that is concerned. Another thing is, if copyright is in full effect in Grenada, then the benefits would be mutual, because I'm looking for a lot of writers as it is, regional as well as local, to assist, because I have a lot of people that I know of, you know, that has good vocal ability. You understand me? They're able to sing good, but they're pretty just not good writers. You understand me? And the both works hand in hand. With going back to the copyright aspect, a composer, which is a writer, would get his royalties once that comes into play, and the artists would get their royalties as the performing artists once that comes into play. So, you know, it's gonna be good if you could get it done that way.